Everything Claire and Jamie once believed about time, destiny, and family is about to be shattered. In the final season of Outlander, the past and future collide when a mysterious man steps out of the mist, calling Claire by a name she hasn't heard in decades, Mrs. Fraser. His face is hauntingly familiar, his eyes burning with memories of a time she cannot place. Could he be someone she once knew, or someone who is never supposed to exist in her time at all? Season 8 of Outlander begins not with war or peace, but with confusion. The kind of confusion that changes everything. The scene opens in the Scottish Highlands, a place that once symbolized love and freedom for Claire and Jamie. But this time, it feels different. The air is heavy, and there's an eerie silence, as if the stones themselves are holding their breath. Claire feels it first, a strange energy, the same humming that once pulled her through time. But this time, it's not her being called. It's someone coming to her. Jamie notices her trembling hands and the way her eyes flicker toward the horizon. For years, they've fought wars and lost people they loved. But nothing has ever made Claire look this frightened. She whispers that the stones are active again. Jamie's first instinct is to protect her, but deep down, he knows this isn't something he can fight with a sword soon after. They receive unexpected visitors, Roger and Brianna, who've come from the future with news they can't ignore. They bring an old photograph, one that Roger found tucked inside an antique book in Inverness. The photo shows a man who looks exactly like Henry Beauchamp, Claire's father. But the impossible part is the date written on the back, 1779. The same year Claire and Jamie are living INAT first, Claire dismisses it as a trick of fate or coincidence. But then, Brianna tells her something even stranger. When they cross through the stones again, Jem heard someone whispering Claire's name. Not Claire, but Mrs. Fraser. The voice was male, calm, emotional, almost desperate. It sounded, Bree said, like someone who had been searching for her across centuries. That night, Claire dreams again of Master Raymond, standing in a blue mist, whispering about the bloodline that bends time. He tells her she must be ready to face someone from her beginning. When she wakes, her hair is damp with sweat, and Jamie is already holding her hand. He doesn't need to ask what she saw. He already knows that something or someone is coming. The mystery deepens when Ian returns from a nearby village and tells Jamie that a stranger arrived days ago. A man speaking perfect English, but wearing clothes that no one has ever seen before. He carries an old pocket watch, something that shines even in the dim candlelight, and he's been asking for a woman named Claire Fraser. When Jamie hears this, his heart pounds. He looks at Claire, and in her eyes, he sees both fear and recognition. Claire can't explain it, but deep inside, she feels a connection, a pull toward this stranger. As a doctor, she's used to rational explanations, but this time, her heart refuses logic. She can feel the past and future weaving together again, just like when she first met Jamie. But this connection feels different. It feels familial. The next morning, they decide to travel to the village together. Jamie insists on going armed, but Claire reminds him that this is not an enemy. Not yet. As they walk through the fog-covered path, every sound feels amplified. The crunch of the leaves, the soft hum of the wind, even their own breathing. And then, through the mist, they see him. The man stands alone, his posture straight, his expression calm but pained. When he looks up and meets Claire's eyes, something within her shifts. He looks young, but his gaze feels ancient, filled with stories untold. For a moment, no one speaks. And then, his voice breaks the silence, the same voice Brianna heard near the stones. "Mrs. Fraser," he says softly, "I've finally found you." Jamie's hand tightens on the hilt of his sword. The man notices, but he doesn't flinch. Instead, he steps forward and removes something from his coat, a small locket, tarnished by time. He opens it, revealing a faded photograph. Inside the frame is a picture of Claire as a child, standing beside her parents. And just like that, her heart stops. Because she realizes, this man knows her family. Claire's voice trembles as she asks who he is. The man looks between her and Jamie, his eyes welling with tears. "My name," he says, "is Henry Beauchamp." The air feels like it's been sucked out of the world. Claire's mind spins. That's impossible. Henry Beauchamp died long before she was born. She remembers the stories her uncle told her about her parents' mysterious past, about the secrets no one ever explained. But the man continues speaking, his words breaking through her disbelief. "I've been trapped between times," he says, "searching for my daughter, Julia, and for you." Jamie's eyes narrow, trying to understand the madness. Claire, on the other hand, can only whisper, "You can't be my father. You can't be alive." But when he takes another step forward, the faint blue light around his hands flickers. The same light she's seen before in Master Raymond. It's the mark of a traveler. Her father, the man she thought long dead, is standing before her, glowing faintly with the same power she carries. And the worst part? She can feel that he's telling the truth. The moment ends with thunder echoing in the distance. Claire's heart pounds as she realizes what this means. Her father didn't just travel through time. He might be the key to everything. The healing, the prophecy, even the connection between her family and Master Raymond. Jamie, ever the warrior, senses danger. "If he's here," he says quietly, "then someone or something brought him." And just like that, the final season of Outlander sets its stage, where love meets destiny and the line between past and future begins to disappear. The world around Claire feels as if it's spinning. Her mind races between disbelief and recognition. Henry Beauchamp, her father, standing alive before her eyes, untouched by age, as if time itself had bent just to bring him here. Jamie stays close, his eyes locked on Henry, trying to read his intent. The air between them is thick with tension, love, fear, and suspicion all tangled in silence. Henry's voice trembles as he speaks again. "I know this is hard to believe, but I've searched for you for years through centuries." Claire's lips part, but no sound comes. Every memory of her childhood flashes before her. The smell of her father's coat, his laughter, the warmth of his hand holding hers. And yet, the man standing before her is too young. He hasn't aged a day since those memories. Finally, Claire gathers the courage to ask, How are you alive?" Henry takes a deep breath, his eyes glistening under the soft gray light. "Because I was never meant to die, Claire. Not then." His words hang in the air like a haunting melody. He explains that on the night of the plane crash that supposedly killed him and Julia, a strange light engulfed their car before they ever reached the airport. When he awoke, he was lying near the standing stones, in a world centuries away from his own. Jamie listens, his expression unreadable. The soldier in him refuses to trust easily, but the man in him, the husband who's seen miracles, can't deny what he's hearing. "If what you're saying is true," Jamie says quietly, "then you've crossed the same path as my wife. The stones called ye." Henry nods. "The stones didn't just call me, they chose me. And now, they're calling again, this time for all of us." Claire's heart tightens at those words. For years, she thought she understood the pattern, the stones, the travelers, the pull of time. But now, everything feels uncertain again. "Why now?" she asks softly. "Why appear after all these years?" Henry looks down, holding the old locket tightly. "Because something is coming, Claire. Something that will break the line that connects all travelers, the moment when time itself fractures." Before Claire can respond, a sudden wind sweeps through the village. The candles flicker, and the sound of horses crying out fills the air. Ian bursts into the room, breathless. "The stones, they're glowing, Claire. Glowing blue, like the sky on fire." They rush outside, the night air electric around them. Even Jamie can feel it. That strange vibration under the ground, the same one he felt the day Claire first disappeared years ago. The stones on the distant hill shine like stars, humming louder with each passing second. And through the glow, Claire sees another figure appear, a woman's silhouette, fragile yet familiar. Jamie grips his sword, ready for anything. But as the figure steps closer, Claire's breath catches in her throat. The woman's hair glimmers gold in the light, her eyes filled with the same fire Claire once saw in her own reflection. She whispers a name that freezes Claire's heart. Faith. It's impossible. Claire's daughter, the baby she buried, stands before her, grown and alive. Henry lowers his head, whispering, "She found me before you did. She's been traveling, searching for you." Claire's knees weaken. She feels Jamie's arm around her, steadying her as Faith steps closer, her expression trembling between joy and sorrow. "I remember the song," Faith says softly. "The one you sang when you thought I couldn't hear." "You were wrong, Mother. I heard every word." Tears stream down Claire's face. She wants to run to her daughter, to hold her, to believe this is real. But something in Faith's eyes warns her that this reunion isn't meant to last. Faith turns to Henry and whispers, "They followed me." The air grows colder. The light around the stones flickers violently. From the darkness beyond, faint shadows begin to move, figures without faces, like outlines drawn in mist. Jamie instinctively steps in front of Claire and Faith, his voice sharp. "Who are they?" Henry's voice trembles. "They're not people. They're echoes. The ones who were never meant to cross." Claire remembers the stories Master Raymond once told her about travelers who lost their way, trapped between timelines, feeding on energy from the stones. She thought they were legends, but now they're real. Faith reaches for Claire's hand. "We don't have much time," she says. "The fracture is spreading. If we don't close it, time will eat itself." Jamie looks from Claire to Faith, his brow furrowed. "And how are we supposed to stop time itself?" Faith's gaze hardens. "With the one thing that created it, blood." She looks directly at Henry. "His blood. And yours." Claire recoils. "What are you saying?" Henry steps forward, his expression somber. "I didn't just come to find you, Claire. I came to end the circle that started with our family. The healing, the traveling, it all began with us. And if it doesn't end now, everyone connected to the stones will be lost." The wind howls louder. The ground begins to tremble. Claire feels the familiar hum growing inside her chest. The same feeling she had every time she crossed through the stones. Only this time, it's not calling her to travel. It's warning her. Faith turns to her mother, her voice breaking. "You have to choose, Mum. Either we close the stones, or they'll consume everything, including Father." Jamie's voice is low but steady. "Whatever choice must be made, we'll make it together." But Claire knows, this time, love might not be enough to save them all. The glow from the stones brightens into a blinding light, and in that moment, every secret, every prophecy, and every life tied to the Beauchamp line is about to be tested. The stones roared like thunder, the sound vibrating through the air until the earth itself seemed to tremble beneath their feet. Claire shielded her eyes from the blinding blue light, but the energy pulsing from the circle was too powerful to ignore. Faith's hand was still gripping hers, trembling, desperate. Jamie pulled Claire closer, his protective instinct stronger than ever, while Henry stepped into the glow, as if surrendering to something ancient and unstoppable. "Don't go near it," Claire shouted, her voice breaking. But Henry turned, his face calm, almost peaceful. "This is what I came for," he said softly. "This is what the stones have wanted all along. Every traveler in our bloodline, from Raymond to you, was just a part of the same circle." Jamie frowned, his voice tight with disbelief. "Ye can't mean to sacrifice yourself for a pile of cursed rocks." Henry's gaze moved to him, gentle yet firm. "You don't understand, Mr. Fraser. The stones are alive. They remember who passes through them. They feed on time, and they've been feeding on us for generations." Faith nodded, her voice quivering. "The fracture is growing. Soon it will tear open, and everything, the past, the future, will collapse into one endless moment." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "Then there must be another way. There's always another way." She rushed to the stones, trying to feel the pulse, the rhythm of time itself, the heartbeat that had once pulled her through centuries. It was faster now, more violent. The stones weren't just glowing. They were bleeding light, Henry stepped closer to her, placing his hand on her shoulder. The circle began with Raymond, he said quietly. He gave life to Faith when she wasn't meant to live. He healed what nature meant to end. The power he used, it unbalanced everything. Claire's heart sank. So you're saying? Yes, Henry whispered. That miracle broke time. And now, the only way to heal it is with another sacrifice. Jamie's voice cracked like thunder. No, you'll not be tucking her. Not now, not ever. Faith shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks. It's not her the stones want, Papa. It's me. Claire turned sharply toward her daughter, horrified. No, Faith, you can't. I was never supposed to live, Faith said softly. But Master Raymond brought me back, and every moment since has been borrowed time. Now, that debt must be paid. Jamie took a step forward, grabbing Faith by the shoulders. There must be another way, lass. You can't give yourself to this madness. But Faith only smiled, that same warm, sad smile that once belonged to Claire when she accepted her fate. You both gave me life. Let me give you peace. Before either of them could stop her, Faith turned and walked into the light. The stones screamed, not like rocks but like something alive, ancient and mourning. Claire tried to run after her, but Jamie held her back, his arms wrapped tightly around her trembling body. The wind howled, lifting leaves, dirt, and light into a swirling vortex. And then, silence. The light dimmed. The stones stopped humming. Faith was gone. Claire fell to her knees, her sobs breaking through the still air. Jamie knelt beside her, his own tears glistening in the dim light. Henry stood before them, his face pale but peaceful. She's done it, he whispered. She's sealed the fracture. The circle is closed. Claire looked up, her face streaked with tears. And what about her? Where is she now? Henry closed his eyes. Somewhere between time, free from it. For a long moment, no one spoke. The world felt still again, almost too still. Then the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, bathing the stones in golden light. The storm had passed. The hum was gone. Jamie helped Claire to her feet, his hand steady on hers. It's over, Emo Nagi and Dawn, he whispered. She saved us all. But Claire didn't feel peace. Only a hollow ache, a mother's wound that time could never heal. She turned to Henry, her voice shaking. What happens now? Henry smiled faintly, though his eyes were filled with sadness. Now, my time is done too. The stones only let travelers remain where balance exists. With the fracture healed, I must return. Claire's tears began anew. I just got you back. I can't lose you too. He stepped closer, cupping her face in his hands. You'll never lose me. Every time you hear the wind in the stones, you'll know I'm there. And when your time comes to cross again, we'll meet. On the right side of time. The glow returned briefly, wrapping around Henry like a veil of light. He looked at Jamie, his voice steady. Take care of her. The world needs her more than it ever needed me. Jamie nodded, his throat tight. You have my word. And with one last smile, Henry stepped backward into the circle. The light flared once more, and then he was gone, leaving only silence and the faint scent of lavender in the air. Claire stood frozen, the weight of loss pressing on her chest. She had lost her father, her daughter, and perhaps a piece of herself. But when Jamie's arms wrapped around her, she realized something else. She still had her heart, and it still beat for him. Weeks later, life in the Highlands resumed. The war, the prophecies, the stones, all faded into whispers of the past. Claire spent her days healing others, while Jamie worked the land, his hair streaked with silver, his strength unbroken. Yet, every evening, Claire would walk to the stones, place her hand against the cool surface, and feel a gentle warmth beneath. Sometimes, when the wind was just right, she could swear she heard a voice. Faith's laughter, Henry's calm tone, Raymond's whisper of forgiveness. And she would smile, knowing that even though time had taken them, love had kept them near. As the season closes, the final image is not of loss, but of peace. Claire and Jamie standing hand in hand before the stones, their faces lit by the setting sun. Time had tested them, broken them, and healed them, and now, finally, it had set them free.